Hi, I'm Dr. Nate Landis, founder and CEO of Urban Youth Collaborative. If you're a Christ follower watching this video, then I'd like to invite you to do a brief thought experiment with me. How much would you say a teenager is worth in this day and age? If you ask the state of California, they'll tell you that a kid's worth just about $24,000 because that's how much it costs to educate a young person each academic year. If you ask traffickers and gangs, they'll tell you a kid's worth about $150,000 to $200,000. That's how much they could make by exploiting young people in horrific ways, even though they're made in the image of God. But if you ask God the Father, what's a kid worth? He'll tell you that he was willing to give up everything to get a young person back again. His only begotten son, Jesus, was not too high of a price to pay to get a lost generation back again, one life at a time. If we're going to follow God and be Christ followers, we too have to learn how to recognize the immeasurable value of a young person and then go after them with all of our heart. That's exactly what UYC is all about, joining Jesus in his mission to seek and save the lost. If we answer the call to follow him, Jesus promises that he'll make us into fishers of men and women. Our message to the church is that fish always travel in schools.
This next generation is really the future church. This generation actually, they are seeking, they are asking, they are wanting to know in an authentic way of who this Jesus is. The disciples were young men that came to follow Jesus at a young age of, some believe, 15 to 17 years old. And they were having impact and influence on even their world at the time. And the reality that our young people have to be invested in, and most young people will come to faith at an early age rather than latter years. And so our investment, our time, our resources is very strategic in investing this next generation, the Gen Z generation, even the millennials that are before them, are been on our radar for a long time, and we believe that is really going to be strategic for the future of the church.
School is where the whole community gathers in the U.S. and around the globe every day. Our mission is to win kids to Christ, see them mature into healthy disciples who in turn transform their families, school, community, and world.
One of my best friends, Nevaeh, she gave her testimony and said that me and my twin sister Charlie really opened her up to Christ and showed her more and showed her love. And I really think that's a very powerful thing to know, that God is really working through people at school.
I think it's important to invest in the next generation, because if we don't, we will not have the growth that we need as a nation. And I mean just the world in general. If we're not able to give them a good foundation and invest in some way that they can take that to grow, they won't be good stewards of this planet that we live on.
If the contemporary church can answer the call to mix this crucial ingredient into everyday youth ministry, we can change the future of the church and every nation where the gospel takes root in public schools.
The biggest challenge is, how do you bridge kids from the community, the school, into your churches? Because at some point that 4 years of high school is going to disappear, and they still need a community around them. We need those bridge, we need those players, we need those leaders that are bridge makers. And in a season now where everybody wants to build walls, we need to build bridges.
The next generation is everything. We're in a pandemic in the United States of the next generation being removed from the church. They're ones that are growing up in the church are leaving the church. Then so many churches aren't reaching the next generation. And we're seeing the pain in a generation with more depression than ever, more suicide than ever, gender confusion and hopelessness and loneliness. And one statistic that is so poignant in my mind is exponentially more successful a young person is if they just have one adult who believes in them and connects with them. And that's what the church is called to do. And that's what UYC enables the church to do by going on to campuses where the students are. Because most of them aren't just going to stumble into a church. We actually have to go where they are. And so that's what UYC is doing, and that's why I couldn't believe in the organization more.
Over the past 15 years, UYC has built bridges between public schools and churches that now see two-way traffic increasing steadily, representing thousands of lives every week.
So one thing I'm seeing with this strong youth leadership that we have is they are building that bridge to get them from club to church. I've seen the step, they're texting each other, they're saying, hey, I'm gonna pick you up on Sunday. I am so impressed, and I know it's the trainings that you guys are doing on Fridays and the connections that you see from club to then they carry it over on Sunday. I've seen them talk. They've come back and I hear them talking about, hey, went to church with you on Sunday. That was so cool. And they're telling other people about what happened at church. And so being on campus, being a teacher on campus, Coach, what's that club you're running on Mondays with the pizza? How do I get pizza? You gotta come on in and check it out. And so they come back from the weekend and they're talking about going to church together. So that was cool.
In some neighborhoods, the midpoint of the bridge can be a teen center where kids gather with Christian adult role models and peers to focus on discipleship, safe, fun environments, homework, and ultimately conversations about the biggest questions of life.
The Teen Center allows them that space to be, on a church campus around caring adult volunteers who really want to impact their lives and have the time to actually engage in those type of conversations with them. So it's very important, it's very valuable, and a lot of the kids that we deal with don't have any meaningful relationship with the church. So now we get to kind of change that dynamic. And a lot of churches aren't set up to receive kids in the way that kids want to be received. So having a teen center is showing the students that we care about them. We set this up just for them so that we can receive them in a place that they're comfortable with, a place that's fun and engaging, and it just really allows us to be able to go deeper with them.
Here's how it works. When kids start a faith club that's student-led, meets during non-instructional time, and is voluntary to attend, then it's 100% legal for young people to share the gospel, invite peers to respond, and invite local churches to the movement as their guests. In fact, it's illegal for school administrators to stop this from happening. UYC is active at 100 public middle and high school ministry sites throughout San Diego County, the U.S., and internationally. By 2035, our goal in San Diego County is to see all 280 public middle and high schools partnered with a local church.
Hey, my name is John Furr. I'm the director of San Diego County for Urban Youth Collaborative. I'm here at Lincoln High School in the library where students meet every single week for their student-led faith club. There are similar things happening at 50 other schools across San Diego County where our staff members are working alongside student leaders to equip them and train them on how to reach their peers for Christ. There's another school that we have upwards of 20 student leaders that are meeting on another day of the week at lunch to plan and pray of how to reach their friends for Christ across their campuses. Second aspect that staff are really leaning into is we're wanting to come alongside local churches to empower local youth pastors to be in the game for a lot longer. They can come on staff with UYC, serve 1 to 2 local school campuses in their area, and be equipped with resources and training in a youth network to keep them in the game for longer. And lastly, our staff are serving teen centers. We have one teen center that we're serving in North County, another here in Southeast San Diego, and one in a few months in the central city part of San Diego, where staff can continue to meet students where they're at and to bridge the gap between the school and the church.
Through student discipleship, beautification days, chaplaincy with sports teams, Project 25 community service initiatives, assemblies, and relationship education classes, we help churches and student leaders partner together to share God's love and find life to the fullest in Christ. We won't allow gangs, drugs, poverty, broken homes, or limited opportunities to threaten the dreams and God-given potential inside every remarkable young person. We want the church to win the race for the hearts and lives of Gen Z and Gen Alpha. God continues to make UYC's ministry expand into Tijuana, Mexico, Atlanta, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina, Spokane, Washington, and now Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. But we're not done. There are new kids that need to find out about the life-changing power of Jesus and the difference he can make in their everyday life. If you're tired of watching the enemy steal away the dreams that God had planted in the lives of the next generation, then it's time that we get together and make a change. Let's invite God to pour out His Spirit over our entire nation by releasing more workers into public schools, the harvest field of this day and age. Will you help us? Your prayers, your financial gifts, and your connections to key people in your community will make it possible for the young people that we work with to go to school while learning that there's a God who loves them, who's got a plan for them in Christ that's eternally significant and better than anything they could have ever dreamt of. Thanks for your love for the next generation. God bless you. We look forward to working together.